Say, enjoy looking over your shoulder, constantly wondering if today's the day. We come for you. Enjoy trying to sleep tonight, wondering if tonight's the night our SWAT team blows your front door off the hinges.
That was Lake County Sheriff Peyton Grinnell in a video posted a few weeks ago as the heroin and opioid problem grows. He was flanked by men in masks promising to get the dealers of what he calls poison off the streets. And just yesterday, we brought you the story of this man who was arrested by Winter Park police. They say he supplied a lethal dose of heroin to a 17-year-old boy back in February. Also this week, Governor Rick Scott signed an executive order redirecting $27 million in federal money to fight the opioid epidemic in Florida.
And we are joined now by Orange County Sheriff Jerry Demings. Sheriff, thank you for being with us today. We're so happy to have you here. Obviously, this is not just a huge problem nationwide, but here in Central Florida, what efforts are being made, and what would you say the state is here in Central Florida?
This is a significant problem for our community. In unincorporated Orange County, since January of this year through April, we responded about 300 times to overdose calls for service. Out of that 300, about 200 of them involved heroin overdoses. So it's up 118% year to date. And so we are addressing it from the supply side, that's law enforcement, and we have to also address the demand side of those who want to use.
Yeah, let's talk about the supply side real quickly, because yesterday, of course, we had that arrest of a man who allegedly supplied a lethal dose to that teenager. And Winter Park police said for them that was their first arrest. I mean, how hard is it to make an arrest like this and to kind of go back and trace it back to the dealer?
We are making arrests almost daily of drug traffickers in our community. If we don't respond to these calls for service, we will never be able to work backwards to identify who's peddling the drugs on the streets of Orange County. And so we choose to respond to all of them. That is not the case in many jurisdictions across the state. In some jurisdictions, they treat it simply as a medical emergency and law enforcement does not respond. But we want to hold drug dealers accountable. Let's
talk about some of the numbers in our area, because they are really alarming. I know we have a graphic to put up. The numbers we have from the FDLE are from 2015, and it talks about the medical examiner districts, and Orlando's district is toward the top. There were 733 deaths that year. Orlando came in second at 105. Beating Miami and Tampa and other places. Why are we so high here in our area?
We're high because there's a significant demand for the drugs, and it's very potent. What we're seeing on the streets today is, in most cases, it's not even heroin, it's fentanyl, or it's heroin and fentanyl, which is a very, very toxic drug and highly potent. And so that is something that is a major concern to us as we are dealing with this on a day-to-day basis.
And one of the tools you use is Narcan. Talk to us a little bit about that. And we have some numbers with Narcan as well. And your office used it 56 times in about a 6-month period, doubling since 2012. How important is that?
It is very important. On average, we only have about 4 minutes to get to a person who is in respiratory failure due to overdose. And so now we have put this on our deputy sheriffs, and several times each week they respond to an overdose situation and essentially save someone's life because they're carrying the antidote drug of Narcan.
So what can people do to try and stop this? I mean, it is tearing apart families, tearing apart communities. Is there anything, you've already seen numbers this year compared to last year, we're even up again. Is there anything people can do?
Well, we've got to get drug addicts into treatment, and then we have to work on the prevention side to bring awareness to this situation. And then we have to work on the enforcement side as well, and work with our prosecutors to prosecute the appropriate individuals and keep them in our jails.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and spending some time and talking to us a little bit about this problem. I know it's a big problem, and we'll continue to be talking about it for some time. To see more of those numbers we just showed you, head on over to clickorlando.com.